What does Valve and ethics have in common? We debate in 60 seconds.
This is the W2 Report with Sanji Homura. Here's Sanji.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the W2 Report. I am your host, Sanji Homura. Today, we have multiple actresses accusing Keanu Reeves of extremely inappropriate behavior as today's meme. But before we go into details about that particular story, let's go first into the ground rules with Lord Crocker Squirrel.
Rule number 1, be not the dick. Not the super dick, not the mega dick. No, just don't be the dick. Rule number 2, if you have questions as to whether or not you are the dick, please refer to rule number 1. Do not contact anybody that we're talking about today or any other.
And we will disavow
hammer is.
And we will disavow any knowledge if you do so. So, bringing up our third man in the ring today is Mr. Lindgren.
Oops, I wasn't expecting this placement. Didn't know I'd be swapping in for Thomas Braun completely.
Also on today's crew, we have Mr. Vaughn, as always.
I'm really looking forward to discussing Valve's ethics, because they're very much like Half-Life 3. Rumored, but never seen.
They're
all right.
Corporation. They don't need ethics.
To explain a little bit of backstory, Valve has a not-so-secret shooter going on. While Squirrel and I are under NDAs to not talk about it, somebody already has. Sean Hollister from The Verge.
Yes.
Yes, Sean Hollister is a senior editor and founding member of The Verge, who got blah, 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 blah. He spent the previous 15 years editing the likes of CNET, Gizmodo, and Gadget. Typical BS. But it's been nearly 5 years since Valve announced a truly new game, and counting. Valve still hasn't officially announced Deadlock, its hero shooter that takes cues from Overwatch, Dota 2, and Team Fortress 2, and more. But that hasn't stopped nearly 20,000 players from trying the game, including himself. He says in the very next line, and I am not under NDA. He has signed no contracts and made no verbal agreements. He hasn't even clicked through an EULA. Do you see the problem with this statement?
It's true.
Well, not only is it true, it's also completely wrong.
Damn, it was 50-50.
You can be true and wrong at the same time.
I guess so.
Yes, the things to which he agreed were not EULAs.
Now,
NDAs or anything else? Or anything else of the sort?
Now, the image that you see on your screen does pop up when he launches Deadlock, but he didn't click OK. Instead, he hit the escape key and watched it disappear like a magic trick.
What a loophole.
So, Mr. Sean Hollister thinks.
Oh, by the way, when I thought I'd try and duplicate that, doesn't work.
They patched that out.
They patched it out. So Mr. Hollister claims that he's not under NDA. And he recorded 24 minutes of YouTube video showcasing the game. Now, do you see where the problem is, Mr. Hollister?
Yes, he forgot to enable no clip.
That thing that's funny.
Okay. This story also has another cast member by the name of Tom Warren. Mr. Warren is his boss over at The Verge, editor-in-chief of the gaming division.
The top dog.
Mr. Warren seems to have suggested that NDAs are optional.
No, not optional. If your access to a product or service includes a non-disclosure agreement, that's not optional.
No,
because
it's not.
If you don't sign it, then they block you out of whatever it is you're supposed to not talk about.
Yep. Now,
and in cases where employment hinges on you keeping your fracking mouth shut, you just won't get the job. They'll give it to the next guy.
Yep.
NDAs are morally optional.
Well, what happened is there's two or three more cast members, including YouTuber Upper Echelon. Now, normally we respect his content, we respect his opinion, but he told a very dark and dirty secret. Ooh. Anybody can get access to Deadlock as long as you're friends with somebody with access to Deadlock. So right now, Squirrel and I can actually go into the Deadlock game and invite friends to try out the demo. Which is how Deadlock exploded from about 2,000 players concurrent to 20,000 players concurrent.
So access to Deadlock was accidentally contagious.
Yes, it was. Not only that, we're not gonna show the rest of this article because it contains NDA stuff, and we have what's known as ethics.
But what are ethics?
Well, you do anyway.
I was gonna say.
I wouldn't. NDAs are NDAs are NDAs. You can actually be sued for violating one.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, now, NDAs, I have pragmatism.
And just to add insult to injury, you'll be coming here to answer that lawsuit. That's right. You will be coming within easy reach of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I will lecture you on the NDA and why it's not a good idea to violate them. Now,
after offering his hot take, I sat down. I literally just slept on it. I slept on it overnight last night. I slept on it Saturday night, and on Sunday, I actually jotted down a few thoughts. Ease of access, upper echelon, doesn't excuse bad faith by The Verge. Ease of access doesn't dismiss the existence of an NDA by Valve. An easily bypassed NDA doesn't carry any less force than a paper NDA. And both ease of access and an easily bypassed NDA doesn't make Valve's copyright any less enforceable.
And corporate secrets, yeah. You people forget. You guys aren't the size corporation as Valve. They have way more money for lawyers than you do, and the courts here in the Ninth Circuit. Yeah.
They listen to people who have money.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Now, there has been some circle jerks all throughout X, and I've collected some choice samples for you, choice morsels for you today, starting with Mr. Tom Fulton, or rather Will Fulton, excuse me, because that's the only apology you're going to get. Everybody deriding Valve over a poorly enforced NDA is impossibly dorky. This isn't journalism. This is journalism, not PR. The fuzzy distinction here between those two was a constant source of frustration to me when I was a journo. Oh yeah, Mr. Fulton, what happened to your journo job? You got sacked, most likely.
Right, we don't
Exactly.
we don't know for sure.
For exactly these hot takes.
But wait, do we actually know that he was sacked, or
Probably not.
we can't make that accusation?
We cannot make that accusation. But on the other hand, though, it's good for you two. None the same.
Okay.
Also, he's lying. Journalism is PR. It's like, has he not been reading any of the articles coming out?
That kind of depends.
Now, access journalism is PR.
Oh yeah.
I will give you that, Lindgren.
Well, yeah, it's like whether or not it's PR depends on how much in bed the news heads are with the publishers.
Yeah. Here is take number 2. The first 3 words says everything. People go full corporo about Valve for some weird reason.
That's because they are a major business. Even if they're not incorporated with shares, they still have quite a lot behind them.
Yeah.
Because they get a fat chunk of everything that is sold on Steam. How many sales have there been? Holy shit! I have for myself like 4,500 games.
I would say that's probably why.
Double that.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why that this has only 4 likes. It's probably the reason. It's probably not a very popular opinion.
Okay.
Hey, moviegoers blindly follow Disney, gamers blindly follow Valve. That's just how it is.
There are others that follow Bethesda instead, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, the movie people that are following Disney are watching it go dismally over the side. And
now, take number 3. It's a cult around the company, and more specifically, around the head of that company.
citation fucking needed. If you have an academic paper that says this in those terms, then we will discuss just how bad that take is. If you do not have, then I'm just going to ignore you because that's all it's worth.
Take number 4.
Hey, it's like, like I said before, moviegoers have the religion of Shrek, and gamers have the religion of gaming. That's just how it is.
None of you are journalists. Relax. There was no NDA, but if he was a journalist, we expected integrity. Leaks aren't articles or actual coverage, just spoiling for attention.
Okay, first off,
Expecting integrity from a journalist? What's wrong with you?
yeah, especially games journalism over the past, decade?
I would dare say 15 years.
I don't know. Gamergate was about ethics in journalism, even if they didn't think that.
No, it's like journalism has... The only time journalism has been honest is when it's been absolutely livid about something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh.
It's like even going back to like early America.
Well, yellow journalism's all been a thing.
Yeah.
It's always been a thing, and it will always be a thing.
Yeah. Take 5. You simply cannot badmouth Valve over without a legion of Steam lovers and Gabe in, I ain't going to say that, coming for your jugular. I respect Gabe and Valve as much as anyone, but yikes.
No, you don't. This guy doesn't anyway. Absolutely not. Gabe Newell put together a service that people like the look of, and really actually got started the whole downloadable
games front.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have that on the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, GameCube, N64.
Even the original Xbox didn't have it.
Yep, you couldn't download the games. You had to get a disc.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The next generation, PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, the Wii.
All had it.
They all had the ability to do that. What was the difference? Steam.
Yep.
The orange box.
And of course, when you have something like that, multiplayer, people being decks in multiplayer that's par for the course.
Yeah. Take 6. There was no NDA, just an informal do not tell people about this game. It should have been paperwork that needed to be signed.
No, that's not true, because there's something called a click adherence.
Mm-hmm.
And that forms the contract with no paper required. If you click the I accept button, you accept all of the things, all of them that are in that document, whether you read it or not. That's just all.
And everybody's favorite game journo, Nathan Grayson, who admitted that he violated the NDA as well.
Uh-huh.
And has written an article about it on his little Aftermath site.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting about Mr. Grayson here is that he was let go from the Washington Post for whatever reason. Quit, fired, doesn't matter. And he started this little outfit to appease the woke masses.
Mm-hmm. But of course.
I imagine he was fired for being too transparent to his readers.
Oh. I did not have sex with that woman. Now, here is an interesting take from the gamer of all places. I used to respect the gamer until I saw this article. Don't defend Valve for its Deadlock leak.
What? Who? No. That's not Valve's issue. Okay, why are we defending Valve for a leak? It's the journos that leaked it.
Yep.
Bunch of hootin' dickholes.
I didn't know we were defending Valve. I thought we were just attacking The Verge.
Well, The Verge and Grayson and some other people that have tried that.
Yeah, but it's like it's as though Valve is on trial here.
And Valve isn't.
For something that The Verge did.
Yes. That's exactly right. This is a thing you cannot do. Don't do that. And why don't you do that? Because, see, Valve can bring the hammer down anytime they want now. Because these poor people put their names on these articles.
Yeah.
And they can go back and check the X traffic and find the hooting dickholes that seem to be that are telling people about what they did and drag them into lawsuit too.
Yep.
Because there is no limit to there is not really much of a limit to the number of people being sued.
Just ask Digital Homicide.
Yep. Digital Homicide. Get up.
Did it stupid to multiply it by 100 times, and they would have gotten more had the lawsuit went through.
Well, they'd already been told to fix their shit or get the fuck out. They demanded that Valve hand over real world names that are behind that were behind the avatars and usernames. Now, I was not one of the first 5 named, but I can about guarantee I was number 6.
Oh, I wasn't named either, but I would have been eventually been named.
Oh, you probably would have sometime down the road, but I at that point had made 7, 8 videos. I've made 7 or 8 videos in live stream and as live streams. 2-3 hour things. Hello, how are you today, Patty?
Hello.
Hello.
So Digital Homicide went down because it deserved it to. And these people are going to go down for breaking the NDA, which they clicked on. And if they hit the escape to move away from it, they're still going to have problems.
Oh, Patty, remind me to get at you later. There's something I want to ask you.
Okay, so the people that hit escape to push through the NDA without signing it,
without technically signing it. Yeah.
Well, see, here's the thing: they are at that point. They're actually creating a copyright problem because they are
because it is unreleased.
Well, no, there's still copyrights involved, but they bypass security.
Yes, they have.
Oh,
they bypass systems that Valve that Valve put in place to keep the secret.
It's weird how it works, to be fair, because it's like the people that are going, I didn't sign no NDA, are the same people that would say, oh, I didn't break into that bank, I just climbed into the window.
No, this is actually very serious. So, yeah. So, get at me after the live stream, Patty. All right. So, Miss Tessa Kaur. I don't care. I don't care if I'm butchering your last name. But she wrote this article from The Gamer that, suffice to say, would not be fit to wipe my butt.
That's funny because that particular website wouldn't do well as like liners for litter boxes and bird cage.
I quite like the picture they've gone for, though. It's pretty cool.
It's actually a stock photo.
Still good either way.
Now, despite Valve's steadfast refusal to acknowledge that it's actively developing game, everybody already knows this exists. The upcoming shooter Deadlock has a swelling player count. Has had swelling player counts over the last few weeks. There are about 6,000 people playing it a week ago, and now, as of time we're writing, the 24-hour peak is 23,000 players. Despite Valve having never announced the game or even hinted at it, it's out there and people are playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Player count is growing exponentially, indicating there's some sort of closed alpha or beta test going on.
That wouldn't generate exponential growth. It really wouldn't. Somebody's stressing it more than it needs to be.
Some players said that they have received invites to try the game directly from Steam, while others say they were granted access by other players. It's not very hush-hush. Considering how many outlets are actively reporting on the game's growing player count, and there are tens of thousands of people already playing, there are already guides and tier rankings. Gameplay videos have been popping up online. There's even a subreddit where people are discussing how it plays.
Sounds like that NDA has been very effective.
Well, they're all going to be party to a lawsuit if Valve chooses to pursue it. And yet, when a reporter at The Verge finally wrote an official preview of the early development build, no, that wasn't what it was. Excuse me. No, that wasn't what it was. A large contingent of players who are inexplicably caping for Valve got increasingly upset. Why? The article mentions the game has a pop-up requesting that players not to share anything about the game with anyone.
Yep.
The writer mentions that he didn't click OK and instead hit escape, watching the notification disappear into the ether. Here's the part of the article where I say this is not fit to wipe my butt. The Verge did nothing wrong.
Bullshit.
There's been a lot of backlash to this preview, largely centered around the fact that the journalists leaked the build, proving the game journalists can't be trusted and that it's disrespectful to the dev team. Now, a removed reader-submitted community note said the author blatantly ignored an informal NDA. Okay, question. How does a community note get removed from X?
You have to have X employees to do that.
Yeah. There are a few things to discuss here. Firstly, there is no such thing as an informal NDA. That's true. NDAs are legal contracts with legal repercussions. A pop-up politely requesting players not to share information about the game is not an NDA. Now, Where does that article go from correct to wrong?
You obviously have an answer you're expecting. Give it to us.
Yep, that is true. I was expecting an answer. A pop-up politely requesting players not to share information about the game is an NDA. That is why we have been avoiding showing anything about the game. For that very reason. We respect the NDAs of every company, even those we don't like.
Oh, one more thing, folks. These peeps over at the Verge, if they were after this stunt, the chances of them getting another freaking code for anything just went out the window.
It is tricky when pop-ups come into play though, because it doesn't technically count as an NDA. I get what you're saying. It just legally it doesn't quite hold that weight.
It actually will, because you still have to click it to make it go away.
Yeah, you still have to do something to make it go away.
But it can be argued that users do not necessarily read or fully understand the terms before agreeing, if that makes sense.
Well, they say that because EULAs are 5 pages long.
But again,
you can't expect users to read 5 pages before clicking agree. But you can accept 2 sentences. It's yeah, you did read that. You knew what you were doing.
You knew exactly what that was. You clicked it. You're done.
Yep.
And if you hit the escape key, if you hit the escape key, you're going around this security feature, and you're still wrong.
To continue, it's not even an embargo, which is a non-legally binding agreement to not to publish something until a certain time. What in the heck did I just read? Not legally binding agreement?
Somebody's okay. Let me tell you something.
You read a bicep kissing. That's what you read.
Okay, writer, whoever you are, and I don't know your name, and I don't give a shit. Just remember this: Obi-Wan lied to you. He lied. Just flat out fucking lied. Just no.
No agreement was made, and no agreement was broken. It's got as much tangibility as a handshake, perhaps less.
Actually, you could sue somebody up for a handshake if one side or the other fails to get to hold up their end. There are lawsuits on those sorts of things, and they do happen.
Just ask your boy Zach. Because he was going to get a comic published by a publisher. And some dipwad, believing that he was alt-right, got him canceled from that contract. So now, I don't believe that the lawsuit has a solution to that yet, or has a ruling on it yet. I will say that it's been a couple of years.
Since that incident, it's been what was that, 2018, 2019?
Something like that.
Now,
a lot of work has gone into the game. You can see it. It's not perfect by any stretch. And that I don't think is actually NDA material, because you're getting no specific information. You'll probably never see the things that need polished up. Okay, but again, if they're asking you not to do something and then you go do it, I know you read it.
Mm-hmm.
Hitting the escape key doesn't get you out of it.
No, it's just exercise. It just shows bad faith.
And bad faith in contract law, yeah, that tends to.
It tends to not go over well.
No, it doesn't. Especially when you're talking about the Ninth Circuit, because they like to defer to defer to big business. Valve wins more lawsuits that way.
Secondly, the idea that game journalists can't be trusted to keep secrets is, well, mostly correct.
They can't be trusted to keep the secrets that their higher ups haven't expressly told them to keep.
I know, right?
Thirdly, is it disrespectful to the team? Sure, I guess, but refer to my second point. The Verge's reporting was not unethical. Excuse me, yes, it was.
Yes, it was. Because you are not supposed to do that because NDA, and you went and did it anyway, just so you could get a scoop. Okay, that's bullshit.
The Verge's reporting was not unethical. It didn't break any agreements, and access to the game was granted exactly as intended through the invite system. It doesn't matter where the Verge got the game. Gabe Newman himself could have invited the Verge to play test this game.
It won't happen again. I guarantee it won't happen again.
No, it won't happen again.
No, if Gabe Newman had personally invited the Verge, yeah, they'd be like, the entire company would be blacklisted from covering any Valve game ever again.
They already are. Just by pulling this stunt.
Yep. As a matter of fact, all the major corporations will avoid the all the big publishers. They will avoid the Verge like the frickin' plague.
Yeah, it's like I knew the journalist had gotten banned off of the game, but didn't know what more had been done.
No, again, they're not going to get early access of any kind to any game after you've pulled a stunt like this and made it seriously public.
Now, keep in mind, I haven't even heard of this game until The Verge came out with it. Let alone get an invite to the game.
I just clicked the asked to be part of the beta button. That's all I did. And then I found out. Then when I got it downloaded and started, yeah, I realized that wasn't quite the game for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was invited to the beta by somebody. I don't know if it was Valve themselves or not, but suffice to say that I was invited to this beta, and I have yet to play it. And one last point from this article. If Valve wanted Deadlock to be secret, it would be. Excuse me, stress tests, server stress tests, beta access.
It's a lot. Yeah.
for polish.
It's a lot harder to keep a multiplayer game secret than it was for like Half-Life Alyx.
Yes, it was.
Nobody expected Half-Life Alyx. They really didn't.
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's like Half-Life Alyx they kept secret, sure, but you really can't keep a multiplayer-only game secret.
No.
No, it is
Really,
entirely possible. It is actually entirely possible to do that. It's just that you will not have access to the number of players that you might need for stress testing.
Yeah,
which is
technically
why
possible,
Valve
but not in ways that are viable.
Because, of course, the more you know, and knowing is half the battle. While I do some cleanup here. So, with that, here's our preview for next week. There's been some big news over at the land of Shane Isaac and his merry band of JPEG hodlers. We go into some of what has happened next week on the Earth 2 Quarterly. But before we do, we need to sign off like usual. So, on behalf of the panel, I'd like to thank you all for showing up and watching this video live or even on video on demand. Please reply with a comment because that helps the YouTube algorithm. And beware, the tax man cometh.